This is KGW News at 11.
Oh gosh, I think we were there for 18 hours total.
We were out there, it's been 17 hours and it got pretty cold.
It was just insanity out there. People sleeping in cars, using the bathroom on the side of the roads.
When all was said and done, it was about a 24-hour nightmare on I-84. Traffic now finally moving again tonight. But just as road crews get the road cleared, more winter weather is heading in. Thanks for joining us. I'm Dan Haggerty.
And I'm Laurel Porter. Some people spent more than 18 hours stuck in their cars or their trucks on the interstate. We have team coverage for you tonight, from the Good Samaritans who swooped in to help to the new weather warning just beginning.
We're going to start, though, with how this mess unfolded in the first place and how the interstate looks tonight. Mike Benner live in Troutdale for us with that. Mike.
Well, Dan, we can tell you that 84 westbound between Hood River and Cascade Locks is back open, and from what we can tell, traffic is moving smoothly. A far cry from the scene just hours earlier. That is when hundreds of cars and trucks clogged the interstate. They had been stranded overnight. Just before nightfall, a convoy of plows clears the westbound lanes of 84. In turn, freeing a countless number of drivers who had been stranded for hours.
Be done with this mess.
Take Larry, for instance. The heavy wrecker operator was driving from Eastern Oregon to Portland when he got stuck in the miles-long backup. Larry didn't move an inch for 19 hours.
Like any decent trucker, I keep a little bit of what they call truck snacks and whatnot on board. So at least, when you get stuck with these kind of situations, you at least got something as a backup.
We were out there for a long time.
Kevin Taylor, driving from Wyoming to Seattle, was delayed more than 12 hours by the gridlock.
Out of everybody I talked to, I don't think anybody slept a wink last night because they were just all on edge.
And who can blame them? They were worried about running out of gas in sub-freezing temperatures.
We're very sorry that this happened. Nobody should have to go through what people went through on the road Tuesday night and during the day on Wednesday.
Don Hamilton of ODOT says crews treated the roads with de-icer, sand, and salt. But a mixed bag of weather and drivers who didn't chain up are to blame for the interstate troubles and subsequent backup.
People were stuck for hours and hours and hours, and we're going to do everything we can to make sure this doesn't happen again.
Drivers like Larry certainly hope it doesn't happen again. Sitting alone in the cab of a truck is no way to spend almost 24 hours.
If I hadn't had phone service, I'd have probably lost my mind.
And a big thanks to Larry for stopping and chatting with us before he finally got on his way. In the meantime, ODOT is warning that more ice and wind could be coming in overnight. They're urging anyone who will be driving through the gorge to carry chains and please know how to use them. They do not, under any circumstances, want to see a repeat of what happened overnight. Back to you.
And nobody does. Boy, that wind sounds even worse than it was when we talked to you at 10 o'clock as the weather moves in there. Thank you, Mike.
Go get warm, Mike. Appreciate it.
Well, out of the mess came an awesome display of humanity, though. People stepped up to help one another as hundreds sat there trapped on the freeway.
KGW's Lindsay Nadrich joining us now with the details on this part of the story. Lindsay.
Yeah, well, as frustrating as it was for drivers, there was some good, including a mystery couple who went car to car handing out food and water.
By now, we've all seen the pictures of the giant backup and heard the frustration.
Oh gosh, I think we were there for 18 hours.
But as drivers sat stuck for 15+ hours, people like Dennis Miller did what they could to help. Dennis is a fuel truck driver, so when he got stuck, he started offering people gas.
It was important to me that everybody stayed warm. And here I've got big fuel tanks that run my motor, so I wasn't in danger of running out. So yeah, just keep everybody warm and happy and make the best out of it.
Oregon State troopers went car to car doing the same. They couldn't get to everyone, but said they filled up 6 gas tanks and handed out food and water to about 100 people.
It was just basic humanity of saying, okay, what can we do to all pull together to help?
Then there's this mystery couple. Dennis snapped photos of them handing out food and water.
Well, it made my day. It really did.
And the biggest surprise, they weren't even part of the traffic jam. Dennis learned the couple came from Cascade Locks just to help.
For these guys to go out and go to shopping, and it wasn't just a 10-pack of granola bars. I mean, they had bags.
Bags full of groceries that really made a difference to drivers who went hours without anything.
We need more people like these young people. And that's it. It was awesome. I really felt a warmth watching them do that.
Dennis posted the photos on Facebook. They've now been shared more than 500 times. He didn't get their names, but wants them to know just how much their gesture of kindness meant.
I would like to find these people too and just tell them thanks from all of us that was there that day, today.
Well, I also learned businesses in the area even stepped up to help. OSP says Hood River restaurants donated food, Safeway donated groceries, and a local fruit distributing company dropped off cases of water. So the community really came together during this frustrating situation. Back to you.
Isn't that great to see, too? Maybe we'll find out who the couple is.
Maybe
now
they're
that
watching.
The story is airing.
Hopefully so.
They could be watching right now.
Give us a call.
Give us a call, yep.
Thank you, Lindsay. Well, here we go again. A winter storm warning goes into effect for the gorge at midnight.
Chief Meteorologist Matt Zaffino joining us now, tracking, of course, this latest winter weather headed that way. Matt.
Yeah, precipitation will start a little bit later than that in the mid-morning hours, but still it's going to be a rough go in the gorge if it isn't rough already. It's going to get worse. So the basic line from ODOT is just don't travel in the gorge if you can help it at all. I-84 is going to be a mess, even more so. Now, you see the rain and snow down in southern Oregon. That is going to be headed our way, and that's where the trouble comes in because that's got a lot of moisture with it. We already have the cold air in the gorge, and now the east wind is blowing because the pressure is dropping off the coast. So that's what Mike Benner is experiencing, those east winds at 26 at Troutdale, stronger as you get out towards Corbett in Crown Point. It's 29 in Cascade Locks, only 32 in Hood River, and over in the Dalles 31. So it's at or below freezing. You get a little warmer tomorrow, but not warm enough to keep the snow from flying. Our modeling wants to produce about an inch or so here, but I think that's underdone. Here's another way of looking at the Hood River forecast for snowfall. We'll go by every 3 hours here, and by 11 o'clock tomorrow night, it's up over 3 inches, and I think that's even underdone because the gorge has a way, if you live there or been out there or know, of really keeping the snow going. So west of about Multnomah Falls, it's going to be a mix of freezing rain and snow. Could be as much as a quarter inch of freezing rain. That makes it even worse because freezing rain is basically impossible to deal with unless you have studs. Snow 1 to 4 inches east of Multnomah Falls, and I think for Hood River 4 to 6 inches, maybe a little bit more than that by the time it's all done. You mentioned the winter storm warning begins at midnight, extends until 10 o'clock tomorrow night. West of Carson, it's a winter weather advisory. Same time frame, different advisory simply because of the mix of freezing rain and snow. And we're going to keep the cool weather going too. I'll have the rest of our forecast later, guys. Back to
all right, more from Matt soon. So we've seen what the snow has been doing lately. Meanwhile, people living in Scappoose spent the day cleaning up what the floodwaters left behind. We revisited Patty Smith's house. This one was surrounded by water yesterday. Her basement filled with more than 4 feet of water from the creek that was behind her home. She and her fiance stacked up what they could to try and keep it safe from the floodwater, but they still had a lot to do today.
It's never been this high before, ever. I've been here going on 6 years. He's been here going on 7 years. So we haven't experienced quite this devastation. The floor that we live on and the floors above, of course, are okay. The smell is not all that grand. There's an odor from it.
Columbia County crews spent the day clearing a landslide along Dutch Canyon Road. They hauled at least 10 loads of dirt and debris away.
Well, we're not done with this month, so remember you can track up-to-the-minute weather conditions and look at the latest forecasts across our region by downloading the brand new Portland Weather app from KGW. It is free on all Android and Apple devices.
Some good news for you tonight from Salem police. They tracked down the driver they say hit a blind man and his guide dog, then drove off. The crash happened Monday night. Stephen Murphy had some serious injuries but is recovering. So is his guide dog, Amelia. Today, police got a call from the owner of the car that was involved. Apparently, a friend had borrowed his car and returned it damaged. When the owner took it to be repaired, the mechanic said it looked like he hit a person. The owner then called police. 49-year-old Donald Crum is accused of driving that car and is now in jail, charged with felony hit and run.
The Portland City Council made a big move today. Commissioners voted 3-2 to leave the Joint Terrorism Task Force. Portland is only the second major U.S. city to do that. San Francisco is the other. While you listen to this story, get ready to vote in our viewer voice poll. Let us know what you think about this. The JTTF is a collaborative effort between federal, state, and local law enforcement to monitor and combat terrorism. Portland has withdrawn before and then rejoined in 2015. Commissioner Joanne Hardesty held a rally before the meeting today with groups opposed to the partnership. They argued it empowers federal immigration authorities and forces local police to help ICE and the FBI target and profile immigrants and minorities. Hardesty campaigned on the promise to bring this before the council, and today Commissioners Amanda Fritz and Chloe Udaly voted with her to remove Portland from the JTTF. Hardesty told us this vote sends a message.
We're not cooperating with this current federal government around surveilling people because of where they were born, what religion they practice, or what country they came from. I mean, that's not an Oregon value, that's not a Portland value.
The special agent in charge of the FBI in Oregon released a statement which said in part, robust discussions about law enforcement's role in our society are valuable. Recognizing the fears that exist in the community, we will continue to visit with community leaders and work together to keep Oregon safe while addressing those factors that can drive a wedge between us. Let us know what you think. Do you agree with the City Council's decision to pull out of the JTTF? Go to kgw.com/vote or click the Viewer Voice tab on your app to weigh in.
Next, turbulence so bad, 3 people ended up in the hospital afterward. We're going to show you more of this aftermath. A flight to Seattle that had to be diverted.
And it's brother against brother at the Moda Center tonight. Plus, we'll introduce you to their new player.
Also, maybe flowers and candy, a little too boring for your Valentine. Maybe you try to surprise them like I did my wife with a singing telegram. I'll give you a hint. She's not great with surprises. We'll show you the full video. Look at her face. Coming up.